if something happens and you genuinely understand that you made a mistake, then there's doors to open
Yes.
to come back through, to join the club again. You know, there's abilities in the world to make yourself, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Make amends. You can make amends with
Perfect.
people.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Not enough people stop, think about what they did or what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's really worth it or not, and then kind of change their mind and step back and say, hold up, I was wrong. I'm really sorry about this. I thought about it at length, you know, but there's always that opportunity.
Sure.
So don't be too full of yourself. If you made a mistake and you realized it, say something, speak up.
Sure. All right, welcome everybody to the Twitch Creative Spotlight podcast. I guess we're calling it. Yeah, we're calling it a podcast. I'm Joe. It's a podcast. Yeah, I'm Joe, otherwise known as GamerDad.
I'm Neil, otherwise known as Duff Man, Duff, whatever you want to call me. It's cool, but I am ImpendingDuff on all the different platforms you can find me on. And we're joined by Sarah, SoulBound Leather.
Also known as Suchi Kuchi for most of you.
We like to refer to you as the artist formerly known as.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And so tonight on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about bullying on Twitch, specifically in the creative space, how that might be a little different from other forms of bullying, and also want to take you down the road, dig a little bit into leatherworking with our very special guest, Sarah.
Yeah.
So
my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
All right, so we're going to jump right in. To start things off, if you could, I know you have met with me before and we've talked about this before, but if you could fill everybody in on a brief overview of who you are now as a streamer, your channel, and how you got started on Twitch.
We've met before.
Yes.
I'm Sarah, aka Suchi Kuchi, and I started on Twitch with the game World of Warcraft. I really wanted to broadcast my gameplay to my friends and just see if there's anything that I could do better. And I started getting a following that way. And then I started leatherworking because I wanted to make a collar for my dog Karma. And I told my friends on Twitch that basically I did not want to stream anymore and I just wanted to leatherwork with my time. And they were like, hey, you don't have to quit streaming. There's actually a new creative section on Twitch. And this was way back in 2015, like before the Bob Ross channel and all this stuff. And I was like, what? Like, I can actually stream my creative process on Twitch? And they were like, yeah. So basically, that's how I got started. I started streaming my leatherworking on Twitch after, like, I don't know. I think I was streaming World of Warcraft for like a year, but it wasn't consistent. It was just whatever. It wasn't like I was trying to build a community on it, you know? And then I started doing leatherworking on Twitch and I love it. Like, I love the amount of help that I've gotten on Twitch. Like, if it wasn't for me putting myself out there like that, I would have never known like how to use a freaking swivel knife. You know, like all kinds of really beginner stuff for leatherworking. But that's how I got started in the short little story, because I could probably go on for a good hour about everything.
So with you streaming WoW and then transitioning into leatherwork, is that how you started out with the original name Suchi?
Yeah, so that's actually what happened. My name was a mistake. I had just learned how to play the game and I didn't realize that I didn't have the M in there. And I was just logging in because I was brand new to all this. I had no idea that I could even look at my name or span out on the game or anything to see your name in, you know, in the screen. Like, it was just stupid. And so finally I was just like, okay, I was in a dungeon and some dude was like, how come you called yourself Suchi? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not Suchi, I'm Smoochy Coochie. And they're like, no, you're not. It was like when I finally learned how to talk on the game and everything. And so finally I went back in and I tried to change it, but it got flagged and World of Warcraft wouldn't let me change it. So it was just something that was always a thing. And then I named my channel Suchi Coochie because of it. And of course, you know, I carried it on into Leatherwork, and I was like, well, this is stupid for me to go and change my name when I've already built, you know, basically an empire under this name.
Right.
And I just decided to change it recently, actually. Like, it's like less than a month old, I think, that I changed it. But I started getting really serious with my leatherworking business, and Suchi Coochie just wasn't really like everything that it needed to be for the new, I don't know, for the new audience that I was holding, I guess.
Well,
It's always good to make that change, to make a change to brand yourself for better explanation of what you're doing. So
yeah,
I'll be honest, I was looking through my list one day. I'm like, SoulBound Leather, who's that? And then I clicked on it and I was like, oh, Such, just changed your name. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Think about it from, okay, based on my insights, my average audience is a married man. 86% pretty much of my audience anywhere on any platform is a male. Mm-hmm. And they all are about 25 to 54 years old. That's my general audience. So your wife comes in and says, what are you doing watching this strange person on, you know, whatever you're doing? And he's like, oh, this is Suchi Coochie. Does that not sound like a chatterbait name? I don't want to, I'm not like, I'm not a homewrecker. I want you to be able to watch me, and I want you to be able to watch me with your wife. So,
right, but to be fair, anybody that has watched your stream knows that you don't fit the stereotype of what you're describing of female streamers, where, you know, you are very modest, very professional about your stream.
Extremely.
Kind of silly at times, right? But it's a family friendly stream. I mean, you've got your daughter that comes out every once in a while and joins in. So, you know, definitely, you know, I understand the naming change. The good news is, since it starts with the same letter, you can actually use the same logo, which I thought was, was
you
great.
know, actually, you guys, the truth is like way back when I was first starting my Twitch streaming, and I wanted to like be a business, I actually came up with the logo based on SoulBound Leather and the name. And it was based on World of Warcraft, because like, wow, in World of Warcraft, if you get like an epic item, it's bind on equip, which is what they call that. So that means that when you pick it up, it's then to become soulbound. So when you have an epic item, which is what I make, of course, and you get it, like it's yours now. So it becomes soulbound. And that's how I came up with the name and the S and everything. And it just carried over to Suchi Coochie, but now it's back into SoulBound Leather. So
I love
that's
it
how that
even
worked.
more now. I was a huge WoW nerd up until I haven't bought the current X pack because #life, you know, 1.5-year-old and a married life and all that. But I played since vanilla, so that's awesome. That's a great explanation right there.
Final Fantasy is a better online game. All right, so Sarah, what keeps you motivated to stream on Twitch, and what do you love about it? Because you've been doing this for a while.
Well, streaming on Twitch has a lot of peaks and valleys for a creative artist, as many of you know. I like started streaming on Twitch mainly just to connect with my friends, you know, because they all told me, you should stream on Twitch, you're a beautiful lady. And then they were like, look at this girl who like gets all these donations and blah blah blah, and they were like, all you have to do is look pretty on the camera. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that'd be cool, you know, if I could do that. And then I was just like, I don't know, like I just started building a community on it, but it was mainly just to connect with my friends, you know. And then it became like, I have to do something, you know, because I couldn't go to college. I had a very sick child, and it was just like a thing that I could not do. And I tried, but she was just constantly in and out. So like streaming on Twitch it's kind of like a way for me to connect with my friends, and then to have like a side hustle. You know, that's basically how I looked at it. I was like, I need a side hustle anyway. And so it was like I was streaming constantly. You know, not just because I wanted to connect with my friends, but you know what? I will be the first to tell you guys, if there's a streamer that's streaming 5 to 8 hours a day and they tell you, I only do this because I want to connect with my audience, they are lying to you. Yes, you want to connect with your audience, but you know that you're trying to hustle too, okay? And
Well,
I'm
that's a
not afraid to
job at
admit
that
that.
point. That's definitely
Yeah,
a job at
exactly.
that point.
Absolutely.
So, as a
I
creative
was
artist, I was trying to,
yeah.
do that, the hustle thing, and it just wasn't working out. And it's not because nobody liked me or anything like that. Like, we got really popular with creative and stuff like that, but just creative wasn't really moving. You have to get into gaming if you want to do anything good on Twitch. If you want to make money on Twitch, you've got to be all of the above and constantly like dropping the next thing, and you got to be like the next big move and understand that you may be the next big thing tomorrow, but you won't be that a week from now, a year from now. Like, you just have to keep doing that until you get to a point where you're one of the big names. And that was really, really hard for me to do because I wasn't going for that. Like, what I really wanted was I wanted to leatherwork, and I wanted to show the world my leatherwork. And the hardest part about Twitch was that it was not what Twitch wanted for me. And it was really difficult to figure that out because I was on stream on, I was like, oh my God, people like the content. They like what I'm doing. And that's true. It's not like it's not true. It's just that it's not a doable thing for everything that I wanted to do. Like, I really don't care if people donate to me, and I don't care if people sub to me, but I want them to buy my stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want to sell my stuff, and I want to show the world what I can do with my leatherworking. And that was what was really difficult for me, was to figure out the balance with Twitch and that. And which is why I switched all my business name over to SoulBound Leather. It was really hard because I wanted to do all of these things, and I was really stressed out because it's like everything that I was trying to do wasn't working. And it's not because I wasn't putting time, effort, money, or anything into it. It was, I don't know, it was just something that nobody's done before. And I finally figured out that I just want to do my leather work, and whatever can happen with Twitch is just going to be on top of what I'm already doing with the leatherworking, because that's what I care about the most. Like, I just love leatherworking.
Yeah.
And I want to share that with the world.
Being passionate about your craft, that's, I think, one of the most alluring things to viewers, to watch a streamer who's passionate about their craft. I've watched your stream many times, and you're very passionate about it, and that's what makes it so enjoyable for me. And I think we all three of us can relate to each other because we're all commissioned artists, and it's like you said, we're not sitting here begging for donations and whatnot, but yeah, it feels good when people want to buy your
Yeah, it
stuff
does,
from you.
right?
It
It's like,
feels
oh, you
amazing.
like what I'm doing?
Yep, exactly. And I mean, your candidacy here with your honesty, it's great. It's refreshing to hear. There's not enough people out there that are
I
honest
know.
with it. And if I could give a quick shout out to someone I love to watch on YouTube, Scott the Maniac, for the miniature painters out there, I'm sure you all know. He's been very transparent as of late about his want to be a full-time content creator. And as of yesterday, I think he hit enough patrons to literally declare he's putting in his 2 weeks at his job and he's going to go full time. So I think there's no shame in being transparent about your desire to do this full time.
And you shouldn't
People
feel
enjoy your
guilty either.
content, right? And if people enjoy your content, they're going to support you. So congratulations for that. I admire that.
Thank you. It did take a long time though, because it was really hard because I love to stream. Like, I love to stream. Like, I love it so much, but streaming also lowers my productivity significantly.
Yes.
Sarah likes to talk, guys.
Yeah, I
She
do.
likes
I
to
love
talk with all
talking
of
to
her
my
viewers.
chat. I do.
Not me.
Like,
I don't tell stories all day at all
Never.
when I'm streaming.
I don't know.
Who does
I
that?
love doing it. So that's probably like why I had to finally make that decision, because just like with everything, like, you can't be successful at one thing if you're only giving it 50%. You
Right.
have to give it your all. And I had to choose, what's my all? Is it streaming on Twitch, or is it doing my leatherworking? And I wanted to figure out what my all was, and it was hard because I was trying to commingle those. So I was like, oh, streaming and leatherworking, that's my all. That's my all. That's exactly what I want to do with my life. And it is, but it just, when you stream on Twitch, you have to be on top of the content. You have to be on top of your community. You have to be just as active and interactive as you are with the business that you're trying to create too.
Yep.
And it's kind of really hard to intermingle those two, like I said. And so I just decided I want to go all with my leatherwork. That's what I want to do. I'm going to go all with my leatherwork, and I want to bring Twitch with me. And so that's what I started to do, which is why I changed my name to SoulBound Leather. So that way it would be easier for like the new followers who are catching on to what I'm doing on Instagram, which is like my main platform. But anyways, that's how they're finding me. You know, if you know me as SoulBound Leather, but I'm like, come watch me on Twitch at Suchi Coochie, it was just really hard to get the old guys. You know, it was the old guys that was having a hard time showing them how what the difference is in it. So yeah. So that's how that happened. That's how my Twitch journey happened. I love Twitch, and I will probably, like I said, and like I've always told you guys, I will continue streaming on Twitch until I'll be that old lady.
And even
that old great lady.
And even then, you can be the old granny leather worker. You know.
Exactly. It was so funny too, because like when I told my community, I was like, guys, I'm not going to stream on Twitch anymore. But it wasn't like I said it that way. It's just that's how everyone took it. I was like, I'm quitting Twitch, but I'm going to keep streaming. And they're like, what? They started freaking out. I was like, okay, that was probably like the worst way to explain this. And then like when I came back, you know, from a little break, everyone was like, I thought you said that you weren't streaming. I was like, no, I'm just not going to be a streamer. Like I'm not going to be identified as a streamer. I'm just gonna do my leatherworking on Twitch.
Yep.
So it really hasn't changed, you know. It's just mainly up in here that has changed, I guess.
Well, and I've seen a couple of people who run their businesses right through a lot of social media. There's a computer builder who does custom computers that pretty much has cameras set up in his computer store, and just you're basically watching his security cameras live, and he talks to you throughout the day, but he's focusing on his business first and allowing the stream to enjoy that environment. And it seems like a slightly different thing, but it also seems like a very interesting thing because there's been other streamers I've hung out with for literally just a lurk and work kind of thing, as in I can lurk while they work, listen to music and watch them do stuff, and it's nice to come back. If I'm in the office or working or something like that, I can pull up someone's stream. I don't have to worry about keeping up with what they're doing or keeping up with their chat. I can just go back and see the video as it's playing just casually. So it's a different take on Twitch. I still personally think that still makes you part of the stream community, but it definitely is a very unique, very productive, very beneficial thing to allow you to expand your craft, to share your craft in a different way. So it's definitely very interesting. I wish I could do that more often with my stuff, but you know, it's just not. I can't stream painting a model while I'm on a conference call. You know, so.
No.
So I want to change the topic up just a little bit. I do want to dig into leatherworking and how you do that on stream. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some stuff that happened at the beginning of the month. So May 1st, roughly, or the end of April, there was a little bit of Twitch drama going on, and there was, I'm not going to name all of the streamers because I don't want to bring attention to the individuals. I want to bring the attention to the topic. But there was a lot of bullying going on between a couple, and they had found some, I guess they were talking about some artwork, right? And they pinpointed who this streamer was who provided the artwork, and they began to trash this person's work. I mean, they went as far as
gentle with the adjective.
Yeah, they went as far as even questioning. Oh my god, yeah, roast, bully. I mean, like they full on trolled this person and even questioned whether or not they were autistic, which has no merit, no, yeah, like
it's being a leather worker,
right? I mean, it's just ridiculous to see this kind of behavior. And it's, I guess the problem with bullying is, you're essentially making fun of, in the creative space, most of the time someone's livelihood. Like a lot of people who I watch that are doing creative stuff are not just doing it for the hell of it. Now there are a lot of us mini painters that most of the time we're just painting for the sake of painting, but a lot of creative has people like Sarah, like Duff, doing things for commission for someone else, their job or a side job or any sort of income on Twitch. So imagine if someone said, "What's the stuff Sarah's doing? She doesn't know how to, you know, she can't cut her edges straight. Like look how she, you know, she can't." This I don't even know all the technical stuff for leatherworking, so you have to school me on that. But
does she even have a 7-inch scythe knife? What the hell?
I have weapons in my house, like ridiculous.
Right.
Weapons.
You know, so the problem with bullying in general, like you can bully anybody, but the difference between what I've seen in some trolls and some bullying in gaming, which is also wrong, you're not always or necessarily impacting someone's livelihood when you come into a chat for gaming and you're like, this dude's total trash at Fortnite. He doesn't even know how to hot swap his weapons, or why he can't even build quick enough, and he's just total garbage. Yes, that sucks. You're a terrible person for being harsh and mean like that. But not there's not a lot of people, unless you're like into esports or you are a full-time streamer. Just because you bully someone in gaming, you're not necessarily impacting their profession. When you go into creative, not only are you being a terrible person for being a bully, you're also being a terrible person for negatively impacting their livelihood, and it just adds a new level to me for creative. And I don't know, I talked to Duff about it offline, and Sarah, we chatted about it a little bit too. Like, it really makes my blood boil to see that.
And that it goes back to the age old thing that art is subjective. I mean, there is no right or wrong. We all know, we've heard that cliche saying a million times. There's no right or wrong. And the way that these people approached it's one thing we've all sat down and criticized. I mean, art is meant to be criticized. It's a critical thinking thing. You go to a gallery, whatever, you look on the internet, and you're analyzing. You're how do I put this? You're absorbing it and analyzing it to your feelings, how you react to it. It's okay to react to art, whether
Sure.
you like it or not. It's not okay to question somebody's mental fortitude or potential disabilities. That to me, just I don't even want to go into how I feel about that, because this is trying to be family friendly. But I was appalled by that. I was absolutely appalled, and to see the community's kind of reaction to that on Twitter and different social media outlets, it was refreshing, but also kind of concerning in itself, because they were literally, some of them were just perpetuating the same exact message. And it's kind of, it's backhanded, because these people, they're defending this person that was, I mean, this person released a video, well, somebody released a video of this person absolutely falling apart on stream, and it damn near made me get choked up, because I'm an artist. I'm sure my work's been criticized somewhere, and to know about it, to have hundreds upon thousands of people tweeting to you about it, albeit they're trying to back you up, they're trying to comfort you, but now the world sees that somebody went to this degree. That's unacceptable, and I don't think people like that belong on Twitch. Now, I know Twitch handed down a 7-day ban to the person. For those of you listening, I just slapped my hand. That's basically what they did. That person does not belong on Twitch, in my opinion. There's no room for it. There's none.
Sarah,
It's one thing to talk to somebody in private that you confide in about how you feel about someone's work. I can understand that. We all have best friends. We all have feelings. We all feel like we should be recognized for our own work too. And we all feel like we put a lot of time and effort into ours, and why can't we have what they had? Everybody feels that way. Every artist goes through that. Every artist sees someone succeeding and say, why can't that be me? But it's another thing to publicly roast, like ImpendingDuff said, in front of everybody, and just showing the world how you truly feel about that person. That's a new level of just negativity that nobody else needs to hear about. You talk to your best friend about all the, your lover, whoever it is, about all the negative things that you feel inside your head. And that's why you trust that person enough to hear how you feel about it. But to publicly roast somebody like that to a bunch of strangers, I mean, that was just, you can't do that to people.
And even in private, there is a limit, I would say. I mean, you could be a lot more honest with somebody in private, but we've all probably crossed a line publicly and privately at some point in our lives. I mean, we're not saints by any means, but I think the hardest part for me about this was not only watching this person find out what happened live, like the crying clip. My understanding is this streamer found out about these comments while they were live and cut stream because they were too emotional to continue. Now, the creative community and the Twitch community in general has come out in full force to support this person, in the thousands of follows, several subscriptions, just any way they can to show support. But the thing that really bothers me, it's not the amount of time for the ban. Yes, Twitch tried to react and deal with the situation. I think it's more of my concern of the offenders, the bullies, not really. I don't know how seriously they've taken the matter, or if there'd be any learning from it, because there was a comment of, they were laughing about the fact that it got clipped. I guess I guess I owe an apology then because it got clipped, right? And then another comment was, sorry guys, I effed up. I guess I'll need to make a more formal apology later. Like, if you're taking the time to tweet that you were wrong, why? It just didn't sound very heartfelt, and it hurts me to see. It hurts my heart to see. Creative is a very small space. There's not a lot of us in comparison to the rest of the Twitch pool that's out there, and having a community where, and I've made my mistakes in the creative community too, but having a community where you can rely on everybody else in that space, knowing that it is a safe community. We all need to be advocates of making it a shared community where, whether or not I like every single model that Duff paints, whether or not I like every design that Sarah puts into her knife sheaths, or collars or anything like that, it's still showing support by providing, if you have criticism, constructive criticism, not destructive criticism. I can honestly say that if these individuals provided this feedback in a way that their criticism was constructive, this would have been a different story. Now, I don't think it was requested feedback, so that's another situation. But some of the stuff they pointed out that they were saying was terrible. Yeah, maybe in their eyes it wasn't necessarily the right way or the textbook way of doing something, and it could have used some improvement. But come on, let's be a family here. Let's be like a creative it's community, right?
Mhm.
Like, if I know something that Duff is doing wrong in my perspective about how he's painting a model, or what he's doing with an airbrush, and instead of telling him that he's a terrible streamer, I'm going to ask if he wants help, if I have that relationship. So that's kind of what killed me, is they could have really helped this person learn, because to be honest, from what little I know about that kind of artwork, some of the stuff did seem kind of off to me, but it looked like stuff that could have been improved. You could work together, and that's what kills me,
Mm-hmm. Well, plus, like, if someone was to look at my artwork from like 2 years ago and judge me based on that, and me not be able to defend myself, oh my god, that would suck. If someone was roasting me based on something that I put out like 3 or 4 years ago, before like I increased my skill, I don't know, I think I would be like, you suck as a person. I don't know what I would do.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure though that a lot of people out there have talked privately amongst themselves about how terrible of a leather worker I am.
But I mean, and let's touch base on that. I mean, because there have been situations with myself, with Joe, with all of us. We've talked in private. I don't think that criticism in private amongst friends, one-on-one conversation, is nearly as malicious as going on a stream with hundreds of viewers. I believe this person had thousands, if I'm not wrong. It's the platform. Sure, let's call it what it is. It's shit talk. It's not great, but we do it. We're humans. We're competitive. We do it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that literally every conversation I ever have is rainbows and cupcakes. It's not. I'm a human being. I'm a judgmental person. People are judgmental. It's not that I'm sitting here going, this person is trash, I want them to fail. It's, did you see this? The technique wasn't that good. Those conversations happen behind the scenes. The keywords there are behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Not putting these people on blast. That's gonna happen.
Right.
Gossip's gonna happen. Don't do it in front of thousands of people and then giggle. And the worst part about it is that this person's significant other flared that up, and they perpetuated it.
They also got
they had
banned
the
too.
opportunity.
They were both banned for that behavior.
Right. and that the owner of the channel had the opportunity to, hey, that's not cool. Let's not do that right now. Keep it to yourself. But no, instead they perpetuated it. That's the issue. You don't. We should be celebrating each other. We should.
Sure.
And if you don't, there are streamers out there that I don't care for. I'm not going to watch their stream. I'm not going to talk about them. It's just, that's how it is.
Exactly.
I mean, you're entitled to your own likes and dislikes.
It's an opinion, and I mean,
but you're not going to go out there and
like
tell your whole stream about why you don't like this specific stream, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I wouldn't either.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're not, Duff and I are not going around saying, well, it's better to gossip behind someone's back.
No.
Than to trash them in public.
Just that it happens.
At the same time, like if I've got a problem with Sarah and I want to talk, right, and I want to go, I'm not going to go on her stream and jump in and start making comments. I'm going to confide, say like, this is what's bothering me. I might talk to Duff,
seek advice from a friend.
So we're not saying go trash Sarah behind her back to a friend privately. But if you need to talk to somebody about an issue you're having, talk to somebody you can trust in confidence. And at the same time, still don't be an asshole about it. Like, still be a respectful individual about it. There are plenty of people that I don't like, and there are even more people that don't like me. I'm certain of that. I'm
well aware of it, and that's fine.
Yeah, there's people in Twitch, there's people at work, there's people in real life, there's people in my neighborhood that I know can't stand me, and I know that the same goes for people in those areas that like me. Why, I don't know. But, I'm not going to go and seek out, well, why don't you like me? And at the same time, I'm expecting and assuming that they are, normal human beings that have respect for others. And I'm assuming that they're not going to go behind me and put up ads all over either Twitch or up on the light post saying how bad I am and all that. So, so it's crazy. And, but yeah, I do want to kind of close on that topic because I'm sure we could go all night talking about that. I'm actually going to switch my headset out too, because batteries are a thing.
You can't hear us
they're
right
good
now.
For some things, but kind of suck for most.
So there we go. Yep. So we still got audio. Good. But if you have to say something bad, if you need to get something off your chest, do it the right way. Even if you are going to be negatively critical, try and be respectful about it, and be a good person, because Twitch creative is growing. Unfortunately, events like this make Twitch creative come into a negative light that we don't want. But at the same time,
we still get the light.
We still get the light.
Yeah.
No publicity is bad publicity, I guess. But I would rather see things like this, interactions like this, where 3 parents, right, or some mini painters and a leather worker can just sit down and chat and expand the community and get to know each other and let our communities get to know each other's crafts. That's what I really think the community should be about. That's exactly why Duff and I wanted to do this.
Yep. And I would like to say that despite the severity, there's always room for reconciliation. There's always room for rebound. If something happens and you genuinely understand that you made a mistake, then there's doors to open, to come back through, to join the club again. There's abilities in the world to make yourself, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Make amends. You can make amends.
Perfect. Thank you. It not enough people stop, think about what they did or what they're doing, and if it's really worth it or not, and then kind of change their mind and step back and say, hold up, I was wrong. I'm really sorry about this. I thought about it at length, but there's always that opportunity.
Sure.
So don't be too full of yourself. If you made a mistake and you realized it, say something, speak up.
Sure.
And you'll be welcomed with open arms.
Sarah, you got anything else on the topic before we get to talk about you?
Just love everybody and you won't have this problem. I mean, just appreciate everybody for what they do and what they are doing. And who cares how much they're charging, what it looks like. Appreciate their hustle.
Yep.
Appreciate what they're doing. Appreciate it. That's it. And you won't have a problem. Guaranteed.
There you go.
I agree.
So, one of the things that Neil and I have built into this podcast is the ability for us to showcase a specific craft on the channel. So tonight you are our first for the podcast. Yeah, we'll find you one. Maybe with some of the leather scraps, you can throw it together, make a whole bunch of different scrap pieces, and make a cool little crown out of it. There we go. Perfect.
There it is.
It's a sheep's.
There you go.
In crown.
So tell us a little bit about leatherworking and from the perspective of leatherworking and streaming. So we really want to put that spotlight on letting people understand what the craft is from a high level, and then break into some things that you need to do to be a successful streamer or successful content creator in the leatherworking space.
Okay. Sorry about my Discord. I didn't realize I didn't use servers. But anyways, as far as leatherworking goes, it is heck of fun, and it's like my heaven every day. I get to wake up and I get to go to heaven and I get to work in it and I get to show people what I get to do. And I'm like freaking so happy that I get to do what I love to do. But just like the saying, I tried to be a starving artist. It is exactly that. Leatherworking is a starving artist job. But that's not to say that you can't be successful in doing it. All you have to do is not quit your day job until you get successful. The only reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now is because I have Mike, and because I have a very sick child, and I was unable to get a real job because she just was, I'm telling you guys, when I say I have a very sick child, she was on oxygen, she was on TPN, she was in the hospital for months out of the year. She almost died a couple of times. She's had freaking 8 surgeries, and she still has very serious problems. But that's what got me started into leatherworking, was the fact that I was unable to only use it as a side hustle, So anyway, leatherworking is fun. You just need to grab a hide of leather and watch some YouTube videos. I recommend watching Ian Atkinson on YouTube. He's actually like really good, and he does a great job with beginning leatherworking. Additionally, I recommend purchasing a kit from Tandy Leather, which is a it's called a deluxe kit. It's a beginner kit. Before you go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff that you don't know if you're going to use, doing a kit is probably the best way to get started, so that way you can tell whether or not you're going to like it. The kit's going to give you all the basics, and then also a little bit of tools that you can use. Their first project's probably going to be a keychain. It's probably going to be tooling something fun that you have never done before, and making something for your grandma. That'll be your first one. If you get to that point and you're just like, this is awesome, I want to learn how to make something for myself, then you can, really start buying other things. And that's usually about the point where you decide if that's something that you really like to do. As far as leatherworking on Twitch, I don't even know how I started. Okay, I do. I freaking started in my garage, and everyone in my community can remind you about Suchi Coochie. Do you remember when you were leatherworking in your garage? Because there were spiders in there. It was freezing
There's
cold,
spiders in
or
that room
really
too.
hot. Yeah, I know. It's a little crazy. But there's a difference between like a big black or sand spider like right at your foot, and one that's like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
And up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I would have to get on the floor and do stuff, and I would have a friend that would come and greet me on the floor, and then I'd zoom right out of there for 5 minutes, and everybody would sit there and watch an empty chair for like 5 minutes while I'm like screaming. But anyway, it's really fun. I don't know, what was the original question? I feel like I scaled
so is there anything different you would do streaming in creative for leatherworking? Like, because I like to break down creative for digital streaming, which you have similar setups to gaming, versus like real life or kind of
Okay.
top down content, right? So I've got the big camera for my desk surface to stream me painting, and then I've got my face cam, microphone, stuff like that. Is there anything that would be a little bit different?
For
In
leatherwork?
yeah.
Yeah. So leatherwork, we have a butt ton of tools, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you can do bare bones leatherworking where you don't have like a sewing machine and stuff like that, and all you really need is like a granite stone and your desk, with your camera. But always two cameras. Two Logitech cameras kind of sucks. I've always had issues with two Logitech cameras of the same brand
Mhm.
or the same series.
Yeah.
Um, so like I have a C930E and then I have a C920 for my creative camera. And even that, it's not like the best. You know what I did for a while? I used a camera that had video recording capabilities, and I plugged it in on my computer with a window capture, and I was doing that for a while, for like 3 or 4 months, and it was actually longer than that. It was really awesome because like you could take your camera and you can maneuver it and you can zoom in really close and like show like a lot of the details and stuff, and it was high quality and all that. Yeah, exactly like that. Okay, whatever, you guys already figured it out.
Oh no, now I
Anyway,
have to fix the arm.
For those
I
listening, we both
stopped
just
doing
pulled
it
down
though.
our DSLRs.
Yeah, exactly. I stopped doing that because I switched gears. I stopped being a main
Yeah,
streamer and I started doing other things, and I really needed my camera for like quality pictures on the daily
sure.
basis. And it was just like I couldn't keep unscrewing this, and it wasn't a quick
Mhm.
release, easy quick release. I couldn't do it. I was like, okay, well, this isn't happening. And it just depends on your area, I guess. But having a light on your stuff, the three sightings, I don't know. I don't know what else. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah,
With
so
leatherwork,
I would
you need
imagine.
hammers.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to leatherworking, I would be more concerned about the audio because you are using tools. I've seen
Oh,
you hammer on some of the tools to mark your leather, right? Because your logo, you actually have to hammer that into the leather to mark it, to score it, and all that. So I would imagine probably some people would want to consider some additional audio filters to help cut out some of the noise, or maybe some like a stream deck or some sort of a macro based item to mute the audio when you know you're about to start hammering, right? You want to maybe mute for quickly or something like that.
I mean, that's really hard though.
Oh
Okay,
sure, yeah, I would imagine so.
I if you want, you can, but my community will tell you straight up that I don't care. Like I will
No,
hammer and whatever. I mean, my mic is way over here, so it's not like right here.
yeah,
And I always ask, I'm like, okay, is this bugging anybody? Is this really loud? But hammering, you're constantly tapping when you're tooling something. You've got a tool and then you've got a hammer and a piece of leather, and this is how we work.
yep,
Yeah.
This is very typical of an everyday thing, and every once in a while you give it a bigger tap when you're doing like your logo on it. But I think for leatherworking, not that big of a deal,
sure, okay,
just because of how much hammering you're doing. The people that are coming in there, they know that that's what's going to happen, and I usually don't even give a warning if anything's going to be really
oh sure,
loud. Normally I have music going, and I think that kind of helps.
yeah.
That's how I usually do it, but God, it's just I don't know.
Now
I don't know
I've
what's different about creative streaming with leatherwork. I think it's the
you have a
same.
lot of big equipment too, right? Like you've got
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
the
I do.
sewing, you've got the one of the sewing machines behind you over your shoulder, right?
Mhm.
If I remember correctly, that's where your spider friend crawled down and scared you to death.
Is that your fleshing
Yes,
blade back
that
there
was
too?
very scary.
Is
Hmm?
that her what?
Is that a fleshing wheel back there?
It's called a cylinder arm right here, and that is a belt. It's a wheel for the belt.
Oh,
It
okay.
goes around,
Gotcha.
and
I
then
don't know if have you ever done any tanning or anything, or do you just buy it
no.
already? Okay. I used to be a taxidermist, so it looks like a
Really?
tool that it looks like a tool that we used to call a fleshing wheel. And it's
Oh,
basically
cool.
like a deli slicing blade with a couple of guards on the other side. And when
Mhm.
when you pull a hide out of the pickle, you literally drag the suede side across that blade to thin down the leather.
Nice.
I have a splitter, which is exactly the same thing. It's called a leather splitter for us, but mine's all the
Mhm.
way in the back, which is actually where I was going. I do okay. So one of the things that I do recommend with a leatherworking stream, if you're not just going to sit and tool, which most of us just kind of sit and tool on our streams, but like if you're like me, you're running around everywhere, and I think I'm just odd. But I have this is a long cord and it's hooked up to a long USB. So I can take this camera here and go all the way down through my kitchen because I have taken over my whole house
Mm-hmm.
and I can show what I do with the laser. If you're going to be walking around, having a microphone that can be, hi, Doug, that can be wireless is probably a good idea. But I've always had issues with battery, and this is just me. It's not anybody else. It's just I freaking can't stand it when I'm trying to talk to somebody and my battery dies and I don't realize it, and then I have to freaking change it, and it happens like every single time I stream.
Like with
And
my headset right now.
yeah, it just I don't know. For me, it drives me crazy. But if I'm gonna be over there all the time, I will hook it up. So I
Yep.
have like a little thing where if I'm like, okay, today we're working on the laser, my main stream is here, everything's here. I have to walk all the way through the kitchen. And if I'm really gonna be over there for like 30 minutes, then I'll take the microphone and the camera, and you guys just watch the laser, and I kind of explain, what's happening. But that doesn't happen very often. I try
Sure.
not to make that a part of the stream. And if I am going to do the laser, usually that's my opening sequence. And I'll take this camera with the big long USB all the way down there. So I do recommend if you have a big shop to do a long USB cord and hook it in. So that way you can move it around. Otherwise, this blue, it's called a blue arm. It's for the snowball, but I have it for me and my camera. And this thing is awesome because it's the main camera, and then this can maneuver all around, right? This came from a really
Kind
expensive
of wish
tripod.
that supports a DSLR because my camera is pretty heavy. That looks like an amazing arm.
Yeah.
Honestly,
these arms are very
it does.
flimsy.
Okay, I have
The
the
price.
60 Mark II, which is a very heavy one. It'll support up to 2 pounds. It still will kind of go like this with your camera, but you'll be able to maneuver it. So this works the best, I think, with this camera, though, just because of how heavy the other cameras are. But the cool thing is I can swivel this thing around. I can move this and say, hey, I'm going to be right outside right here and grind things. And I'll like show everyone what's going on out there with this. Or if I'm going to be like over here on my sewing machines, I do that too. Or a lot of times I'll cut like big ass hides on the floor and then I do the same thing. So this thing has been like my best friend. I have drilled a hole in my desk so it can sit there. And then another thing that I've done is all of my tools have places that are drilled up on the desk. So I can't really show you guys. I might be able to. Yeah, not really. Anyway, this is a tool table. And then like right here, I have like hammers all hanging down right here.
Okay.
And then over here, I have a hole like underneath my desk here. Sorry, you can't see anything. I have a USB port under my desk here, which is where I carry the big long USB.
So would that be pretty common in somebody who's established themselves as like a leather worker? When I say that, I mean like a serious leather worker, not someone just trying it out for the first time. But if you've established your shop, is it common to have a lot of larger machines throughout the shop?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, leatherworking is like, I don't know. I think the first couple of years you're collecting machines.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting until you can make enough money to get the next machine that's going to cost you like $2,000. And
holy smokes.
I think that's pretty typical of leatherworking.
I was about to say it sounds like miniature painting until you said $2,000 machine, and I was like, I will stand down.
Well, okay, here's the thing. When you are wanting to sell your stuff as a leatherworker, you have to learn how to stitch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can rivet things on, but you can only go so far with that. Eventually, you're going to get to stitching. Unless you have a sewing machine, all you're doing is hand stitching. Hand stitching takes so much time that you have to compensate yourself for that time. Your customer doesn't understand the difference between something machine stitched and something hand stitched, and they're not going to pay you for that hand stitching time. They're not going to understand it. The only person that's going to pay for that hand stitching time is the high-end client, and that high-end client is going to want everything absolutely perfect down to the T, to the edges, to the height of leather. Like everything has to be perfect, and that's the high-end price, you know?
Yeah.
But otherwise you're not going to make anything if you don't have a sewing machine. It's just the way it is.
So we've got a sewing machine. We've got a laser machine that you're talking about that I've seen you actually cut your patterns out of.
Yeah,
You've got a
that's
splitter.
I'm lucky
Yeah,
to have that laser.
yeah. So, and it's, I guess for those listening in, if you're thinking about getting into leatherworking, all of those are what I would probably say are more advanced stuff that you've used as you've built your craft. What about getting started in leatherworking? Right? You said, did you say something about scrap pieces or like starter kits?
Yeah, you can use scrap pieces, but I recommend doing the kits out of tandy leather. And the reason I recommend that is because it gives you basics, like your basic knowledge on what you're doing, your basic tools that you need to get something done. And that's where I would recommend starting. And in that case, all you really need is a granite tabletop, whatever's in that kit, and to be able to follow instructions.
Okay.
That's pretty much all you need.
Is the granite, is that just for rigidity when you're pounding on the leather?
Yeah, so when you're pounding on the table, you need to make sure that it doesn't have any rebounds.
Yep.
Right? Rebound.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, because you can get ghosting basically is what happens. In order to do that, you need to have a very solid surface. So it's very essential to have a granite surface.
Makes sense.
So it definitely sounds like
absorbs, and you don't want it to absorb any of the shock.
Definitely sounds like for those looking at dabbling in leatherworking, getting started and getting serious, there's a very steep investment and a lot of things that need to be taken seriously into account. It's not like mini painting where I can go buy a $40 box with paints and a brush and some clippers and models and give it a shot, and then like I'm sure you could spend a lot of money in mini painting to get serious, but
absolutely
definitely does not sound anywhere near the amount of what it would take to dive into leatherworking. Another thing you were showing, right, that blue arm, right? It definitely sounds like even if you can't put all of the cameras in all of the places to show all of the things, right? Because you've got so many different tools and workstations and all that. Having the mobility of at least the one crafting camera to show as much as possible, having a good solid arm that can handle being moved around. My arm has to stay mostly still because it's just not as friendly to adjust constantly. I got it in a good spot, but the arm you're showing definitely looks like you have the ability to get a lot more mobile. So
yeah, I love this thing. I'm constantly finding and trying to find ways to stream my leatherwork and do better at showing what I'm doing. But it's just so hard, like there's just so much that I do. And this thing here has definitely been my lifesaver, because for a while there, I was taking off a tripod and moving the tripod around and trying to show this and trying to make it a good angle. And it just took so much longer just to take the tripod off the arm and put it right here than it did to even do what I was going to do with it.
I remember you moving a big tripod around when you're trying to show stuff.
I mean, it was fine, but like it just, I don't know. This is so much better. It's just, like I said, it's been my lifesaver. I've been using it like this for a couple of months now, and I think everybody should do this. If you're a leather worker, especially, you should get one of these. Something that you can be like, oh, I'm going to show you with this and give you a close-up of that and swivel it around. And I can even go like really close up to what I'm working on if I wanted to. And it just stays where it is.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're showing. Yeah, I'm glad that you're showing off using the Logitech webcam, because you don't need. And I know Duff and I were joking and showing off the high quality cameras. I gotta be honest. If I did not already own this camera for family photos, I would have never, anytime soon, jumped into it, because it is a lot of effort. Just ask Duff. Some of his streams trying to get things working. It is very picky to get going and all that. So I'm glad that somebody like you, Sarah, can show off that you're still wanting to and able to use a webcam, and in your case, it seems to be a lot better for you. So you don't need a high quality Canon or the the Panasonic Lumix like Duff is using. You don't need
Oh,
that. It could show higher quality, but sometimes um, that's not always the leading benefit in your decision for your device.
Yep.
let me tell you something. I love using mine,
Mhm.
and there is reasons because of the quality. I like to show
Sure.
some of what I do. So I've got my camera still, and I've got a USB port. And when I really want to show off my quality or get mobile, I just stick it into the USB extension and plug it into that camera, turn it on. It takes like a minute,
Mhm.
and then just be like, okay, guys, this is what it is. Change my scene real quick. It's really not that difficult to just very quickly plug that in so people can see the detail and not just constantly have it be a part of your stream,
Hmm.
which is what I
Sure.
decided to start doing.
Do
Sure.
you run that through a capture card?
I don't actually.
Interesting.
I okay, so it's a Canon 60 Mark II. So it's a DSLR that has video recording capabilities. So I turn it to video recording. I use the Canon EOS software, pop it up, do a live view shoot, which has just a live window on my computer of what I'm looking at through the camera, and just screen capture.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about any of that.
So
Yeah.
for those of you out there, Duff, that are having some issues with a potential capture card, you could possibly try and explore the software of the manufacturer of your camera, because it does allow for uh, some things to try and work around. Because Duff,
Yeah.
I'm only teasing Duff a little bit, but Duff has a
No,
much
it's
older,
valid.
much older capture card. One, it's USB capture card, which when you're going camera to capture card to USB, there's just too many connection points that
Right.
concern me there, right?
Yeah.
So directly into the computer through that, let the camera and the computer talk directly and try the software. I didn't even realize maybe Panasonic has that, so that might solve your problem too, Duff. But
Yeah. We've looked into the software, but I mean, it is what it is. That's just growing pains, and that's
yep,
something else that we should also touch on is the fact that if you decide to start getting into this and you're going to do leatherworking, miniature painting, perler, whatever you're going to do, there are growing pains. You're
mm-hmm.
going to get frustrated. I'm raising my hand because holy crap, do I get frustrated?
You
I'm
should see the
Irish. I
text
have an
messages.
Irish
I
temper.
could write a book on the text messages when
Right.
Duff tries to go live
What
with. Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the things you had said, it's difficult to find the right angle, I guess you
Mm-hmm.
would say. I struggle with that all the time. I bought this camera specifically to show off the detail
Mm-hmm.
I have, especially for us miniature painters. We're working on a 28 millimeter scale. It's tiny. You try to show it off with a C920, it's not really happening because they're not meant to be, 6, 8 inches away from the
Right.
subject matter. Zoomed out 4 feet, that's great, but you're going to be looking at something the size of a dime, a US dime. So I bought the DSLR hoping to show off better quality. There's still struggles. I'm struggling. I've had it running for what, a month now?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just decided to take a
Stops
crap on
being
me. Like I
recognized. Yeah.
had no idea why. So there are growing pains, and
Mm-hmm.
try not to be me. Don't get too frustrated. Just try to find someone that can help you work it out.
Right.
Do what you can.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people listening to this or watching the YouTube or something like that are probably thinking to themselves, and some people here watching this live are probably thinking it too, is a capture card needed? Yes and no. I would say that there are differences. There are benefits to a capture card based on its quality versus a USB connection. Now,
Yep.
I use an internal capture card that's directly into the motherboard through PCI Express. And I use an HDMI port because my camera can output the HDMI quality, so I can get a much higher resolution. Now, with the way I'm set up, I can get a better resolution and better video image quality through that HDMI than through the USB. In other cases, the difference would be negligible in the quality potentially, because you might have really good quality. I worry about bandwidth. I don't, in the older USB cannot carry as much of a signal
Yeah.
as some of the other devices out there. So older devices using USB don't have as much signal quality. And I personally just feel if I can go directly into the motherboard, less bottlenecks.
Yeah.
So, but in other cases, it's not always bad to go without a capture card. It is if you can afford the price point to have a desktop capable of an internal card, it is cost aside, it can be easier with the better quality capture card with that reliable connection to go that route, but it's not always. Money's a thing. Like, it's not always the best. Money is
Don't get
definitely
me
a thing.
started.
Yeah. So, like I said, if the only thing I had to buy when I did this was a capture card. The only reason why I'm using my family camera for streaming is because I got a capture card during Black Friday. Otherwise I would still be on the C920. So
with a capture card, because I do have an HDMI cable for my camera and a capture card, but I could never figure out how to hook that up. Like, I couldn't figure it out how to hook it up and stream on my stream. So I'm gonna have to get at you at some point and ask you how you're doing it, because I was trying to figure out if I needed another device of some sort hooked up to my computer, because if I wanted to stream on my capture card, then my sound wasn't coming in right on my OBS, and it was just stupid.
You were using an Elgato capture card, weren't you?
Yeah.
Was it
I need
inside?
A camera capture card,
You're using the right card. Is it inside your computer? Because other people listening are probably thinking the same thing. So it was a USB connection. Okay.
Yeah.
It is very possible, because I have this happen literally every time I reboot my computer. There is an application when you install the Elgato software called Elgato Sound Capture. And sometimes, if you don't tinker with it correctly, when you reboot your machine, Elgato Sound Capture overrides your audio properties, and it is the primary audio source. So if you turn off the sound capture after rebooting, sometimes you can remove that from the line and your audio works correctly. Also, you are going camera through USB directly to your computer, and your quality has looked pretty good. So I would also imagine that you can probably get away, since you're going USB from camera to computer, going HDMI to capture card and then capture card to computer through USB, you're probably going to get negligible quality differences.
It won't be like that much better.
You'll be able to upload through Twitch as a partner with a much higher quality, but the average Joe or average lady watching Twitch doesn't necessarily always have the internet properties to download a 1080p broadcast at 60 frames per second that your capture card could probably help you get to. So you'll see it better on your end, but we may not see it better on our end, because Twitch will downscale the quality more than likely if our internet can't handle it. I can watch 1080p 60 because I'm on a gigabit speed. I have fiber, but that's different. Not everybody has it.
Yeah.
You guys, Gamer Dad is ridiculously smart.
He is. He's helped me big time.
I'm not even kidding. Like, he is so ridiculously smart. If you have the opportunity to catch his ear, ask him questions. He knows.
And just a shameless plug real quick. Sorry, Duff.
I was going to plug the same thing, so go right ahead.
I am one of, not the only one, I'm one of several stream coaches. So
I am not.
TRUgaming, who is part of TRUgaming, right? True partner. Duff and I are both true partners. My shirt's just in the wash.
And I love the True crew.
We love the community. This podcast would not be possible in the way that it is without their support. So they are supporting this podcast. They built the bottom bar that you see down there. And they're going to be, you can watch all of this on their YouTube or on all of their audio podcast channels. So they're hosting this, and they run TRUgaming, which is a coaching service. And for those watching live in the chat, it is in the live chat. For those listening to this later, I'm going to make a note to put the link into the description.
TRUstreaming.tv.
Yep, TRUstreaming.tv.
True spelled TRU.
That's right. So a lot of this stuff I've had to learn from other coaches and other friends, and trial and error. And so one of the abilities that you can get by getting coaching or watching podcasts like this is to be able to provide your questions. So before we close, Sarah, did you have anything else to add about leatherworking or about you?
No.
No.
Well, okay, hold on. My favorite quote, because I don't know if you're going to ask me that right now, is "The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, and every villain is somebody else's hero. And don't forget."
Wow. That I've never heard that second one, and that is actually kind of cool. I like it.
I agree.
I like it. So one of the things I wanted to say as we come to a close is TRUgaming is hosting this on their YouTube and on all of their audio accounts. But if you, so Duff, Sarah, any viewers out there, if you guys have any questions, any subject matter, any creative content that you would like to have on this spotlight, you can email Duff or myself on our Gmail account. So I'm gamerdadnc, all one word, at gmail.com. And Neil, or Duff, sorry, is
It's cool.
ImpendingDuff40k at gmail.com. You can also get a hold of us on any of our social medias, which has been playing at the bottom of the screen throughout the entire cast, and is in all of the descriptions for all of the podcasts being produced. Also, don't forget hashtag Twitch Creative Spotlight. Use that on all the social medias to bring it to the fore, to like get some attention to it. But let us know what else you want to see. If you have more questions on creative and how to produce content live through DSLRs, or ways to take the streams to the next level, or ways to do digital content through creative, let us know. If you know creators out there that you would like to see on the spotlight, like having Sarah here or some of our other members, email us, let us know. We would love to get more people out there on the podcast. Anything from you, Duff?
Yeah. Actually, Sarah, if you wouldn't mind, you plug a couple of outlets where people can find you, as well as if you have any appearances or maybe shows or conventions coming up that you're going to that people can find you at. Feel free to share those right now.
Yeah. For those of you that weren't here at the beginning of the podcast, I'm Sarah, also known as Suchi Coochie, and recently changed my Twitch name to SoulBound Leather. I do a lot of leatherworking on my stream, and I make a lot of knife sheaths and just like outdoorsy gear. But I also have my gaming side, so I do a lot of custom work for people.
Dice
So if
bags,
anybody's ever,
like dice bags.
yeah, and really cool gaming chair pillows that has like your name laser etched on there.
Ooh.
Anyway, I do a lot of custom orders. All you gotta do is just send me an email, soulboundleather@gmail.com. My main focus on my business is in knife sheaths and holsters and just weird things like that. And you can find a lot of my current projects on Instagram at /soulboundleather as well. And then I also have a Facebook, SoulBound Leather, and I have 2 Twitter accounts, mainly because I haven't absolved the Suchi Coochie one, but at Suchi Coochie, SUCHIKUCHI, and then I also have one on SoulBound Leather, which I'm currently working on building up and turning into something. Yeah, holsters. And that's basically how you guys can get a hold of me.
Cool. Any conventions or
Oh
shows or
yes,
anything coming up?
thank you.
Yep.
I have a gun and knife show that is going to be at the end of this month on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and that is in Republic, Washington, which is up north central Washington state. Additionally, I'll be at Blade Show West, and that will be in Portland, Oregon, around the first weekend in November, which I think is like the 3rd of November. So I'll be there, and then I will also be at TwitchCon as long as they have an artist alley, because right now nobody knows, and it's really sad, and it's making me like nervous because unfortunately I probably won't be able to go to TwitchCon unless they have an artist alley, and if they don't this year, I will feel betrayed. I will be sad. I will probably cry. Yeah.
That would
So
be a shame.
I'll be there. Huh?
Yeah,
That'd be a shame if they got rid of that.
I don't know why they would. It was so successful last year. Oh my God. All the artists did really well. And I think everybody loved it. You know, it was so busy in there constantly.
power of the internet. Everybody send a tweet to Twitch. Let them know you want to see that Artist Alley still at TwitchCon
Yeah.
2019.
Hashtag Artist
Well,
Alley.
Yep.
yeah, maybe that's what we need to do. Hashtag Artist Alley. What happened was the person that was doing and coordinating and putting together the whole Artist Alley and has been since the beginning of TwitchCon is no longer working with Twitch. And nobody understands what's happening or who's taking it over. All we know is that we have a couple of contacts who have told us that Artist Alley hasn't even been a part of the planning right now. So we're just like, oh my God, we're just like totally tripping. Anyway, that's my current news that I have. So
excellent.
What about you, Duff? What do you got coming up?
Well, I've got a few things coming down the line, but we'll just touch on the one. You guys can always find me pretty much every platform is either ImpendingDuff or ImpendingDuff 40K. On Twitch, I'm ImpendingDuff. Instagram, I am ImpendingDuff 40K. That's probably my most used platform. And of course, Facebook, ImpendingDuff, Twitter, ImpendingDuff 40K. I also have a Patreon at ImpendingDuff 40K. Coming up August 1st through the 4th, I'm very hyped to say that I'll be teaching some classes at Gen Con. Gen Con's kind of, for those of you who are into any type of gaming, it's one of the world's largest gaming conventions, not just tabletop gaming and wargaming, but we're talking video games, D&D, every aspect of gaming. I'll be there teaching 3 different subject matters across 5 different classes. Basically all 4 days of convention. So I'll also be hanging around there doing things, buying things, probably too many things.
I can't even troll you and make fun of you. I'm too proud of you.
Thank you,
that
man.
is so awesome.
I'm honored to have been invited to teach those classes. It was a huge honor. So you'll catch me there. There's a possibility I may try to go to Origins, but that's Father's Day weekend. I kind of want to spend it with my son and my father. So
yep.
Other than that, I will be at Michigan Grand Tournament the weekend of October 11th. I'm going there as a competitor for the painting competition, but I'll probably try and get in a tournament or something. So if you see me there, hit me up. And
Dude,
Joe,
I have mad respect for you for being a teacher because I cannot. Oh my God. I don't even remember the name of half the tools I use. They're all thingamajiggies. And the thing that makes the shape.
The doohickey, the whatchamacallit, just go straight up Little Mermaid, right? Just
yeah.
A
whatchamacallit and a doohickey. And yeah.
What was the fork called to comb their hair with? Dinglehopper. The dinglehopper.
Yes, yeah, I remember.
Yes, I have a small child.
Everything's a whatchamacallit and a doohickey. So that's pretty awesome.
Joe, you got anything coming up?
Bud? Yeah. So I'm going to be making a 1-week absence from Twitch after Mother's Day because of work. So there's going to be a little bit of silence, which means no spotlight next week. Just because we've both got some things going on next week that are going to prevent the cast. But when I come back, Memorial Day weekend, there will be a TRUgaming charity stream. I believe that's running Friday morning through, I think it goes through Memorial Day. I don't recall for sure. But I will be out there streaming on their, I'll be on their platform Sunday night, but all TRU partners, and I think they're going to, if we don't fill it up with partners, they're going to open up to TRU affiliates as well to fill the roster to go, I think 72 plus hours, maybe even 80 something hours.
It's 4 days.
It is 4 straight days.
Yeah, Friday morning
96 hours.
I believe the culmination will be either Monday or Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday morning with the final TRU stream. Yep.
So it's been opened up to TRU affiliates. So if any TRU affiliates are watching or listening, sign up for those slots. And we will all have an opportunity to showcase our different content on TRU streaming or TRUgaming for a very good cause for charity work. That's also my birthday weekend, so when I'm not on their channel, I will be doing birthday stream stuffs.
The big 5-0, man.
Yeah, birthday stream.
Yeah, big 50.
That sounds fun.
Doesn't he look good for 50?
Did we talk about being bullies at the beginning of this stream?
He's not 50.
No, he's younger than me.
By what, like 6 months? Come on.
By like 15 years at least.
I know how old you are.
I'm not old. I'm well seasoned.
All right, so don't forget to check out the channel on YouTube. So you can follow the TRUgaming YouTube channel, and you can check out all of the podcasts on Spreaker. That's where I upload it to, and it gets spread out to places like Spotify, iTunes. I believe it's on the Google Play podcast store. So there's tons of places to check it out. And those links will be in the description as well on how to get to the audio and video of this podcast. We'll put that out on social media. We are skipping next week due to real life obligations preventing both of us from being here at the stream, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new guest. We're working out on who that's going to be, so if we know what creative content we've got, we have some people lined up. We're just trying to find the right time to get them into the channel. But when you talk about the podcast, hashtag Twitch Creative Spotlight. We don't have social media created for this right now. We want to try and do this through the hashtag instead. So Twitch Creative Spotlight, talk about the show, let us know what you like, what you don't like, or get at us if you need, if you have any suggestions or have any questions or need any help with your creative content.
Thank you very much for having me on the show, you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
I love being here.
Yes, thank you for doing this.
You guys can also find us on our Paint Pit Discord.
Mm-hmm.
We do some discussions in there about the podcast as well.
Pit, so. That's an awesome name.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that was a merge between Duff and I. We came together and moved into his Discord and put it all together in a big shared community. There's a lot of we've got a lot of guest channels in there. So some streamers who don't want to run their own Discord because it's a lot of work to run a Discord. So
that's why I have Sailor Lion.
Yeah, you've got some great mods and a great community for sure. But so we've got the pit. There's some guest rooms, so you get to meet a lot of other really cool streamers that have their own rooms, as well as other streamers who get to come in and collaborate and chit chat. And there's a good FAQ section on all things streaming and hobbying and everything. So come in, check it out, show off your work, check out other people's work, and yeah, I guess we'll see you in another 2 weeks, everybody.
Yep. Thanks for coming, everybody, and thank you to everybody listening, and especially thank you to Sarah, SoulBound Leather.
Yeah. Make sure everybody watching live gives her a follow. Go check out those social medias, everybody watching. If you enjoyed the interview with Sarah, make sure if you want to see some more of her leatherworking and learn some more, go on in there, ask her all the questions you can about what she's doing with her doohickeys and dinglehoppers, and she'll be glad to run it down for you.
Do you mean all my weapons?
Yes, all
you guys
your
want
weapons.
to see my weapons?
Show us your weapons before we get out of here. Absolutely.
What, really? You want to see some of my work?
Show us some of those. Yeah, show us some of the.
Okay.
We didn't actually get a chance to show off some of your sheaths.
Well,
This will be a difficult part for the people at home listening, but we'll do our best to
about
describe.
weapons, this is definitely. I have a sword,
Holy sword.
hanging out near me. Okay.
Is that
so
a
this is
two-handed broadsword, or that's just a long? That's a long
It's
sword.
actually a one-handed.
Yeah,
but
that's a one-handed. Look at the hilt.
Yeah, it's very
Amateur.
very long. It's a very long sword. But anyways, Mike's gonna be making a scabbard for this.
That's
That is
fantastic.
Has a
insane.
dragon on it. It's pretty cool, actually.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. So these are the kind of things that I have just hanging out in my house.
So don't mess with her.
Yeah. This is, I call this a smatchet mahawk because
that's
it's a
cool.
hatchet, a knife, and a tomahawk. So we call it a smatchet mahawk, a sword and a knife and a tomahawk. There you go. Anyways, I'm going to be making a sheath for this soon. And then pretty much,
Wow.
I don't know how many knives I have in my house right now. I really can't tell you how many knives I have in my house, but this is an example of one of my knife sheaths.
You were showing those off last night. There were a couple of really nice ones in there.
I know.
Knives or sheaths or both? Oh, that's a
Both.
really
So
cool
this
blade.
is a knife. This
Why,
is
Is
called
that
the
Damascus? Yeah.
Yep. It's
Beautiful.
got a bone handle. I purchased this from a maker here in Seattle. And I actually have an IGTV video on this specific sheath that I made. So if you guys are interested in seeing the process, it's on my Instagram page. This is my most recent new development. It's called an H carry. You can carry this
Oh yeah.
on your left, right side, or on your back, on either side on your back. But this snap here is just Velcro and it's stretchy. It comes off and it can be maneuvered around, so that way you can move the snap around too, which is actually really good.
That's
so
awesome.
that's one of the cool. Yeah, this one is really cool. And then I have another one here, which I think a lot of people are going to be more interested in, which has the same exact thing, but with a leather snap. And then this is another example of one of my sheets.
That's like I think they call them hawk claw blade or something like that.
Yeah, it's a hawksbill.
Yeah.
That's what they call this guy.
Yeah, that looks a lot like my skinning knife.
Yeah, I love skinners. Oh my god, that was the Damascus is a skinner.
Yeah.
She has more knives than I do. Yeah, don't invade my house because you're gonna regret it in 2 seconds. I guarantee it. This is
That's
a
cool.
That looks
turtle,
like a turtle.
just a
Yeah.
cool turtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you guys?
Raphael, 100%.
Mine's
Raphael.
Raphael.
Yes.
No way, dude! High five, everybody.
Okay,
That's awesome.
Duff, the timing of that was
Gotta use
perfect.
that
We
to
both
That
went at
was.
the same time. Yeah. Did not plan that. Honestly,
There's
did
a
not plan
delay
that.
on the second
No,
screen,
we
so I
did
got
not.
to admire it as well.
These are pocket knife sheaths.
Very
that's
cool.
really cool.
I like the pattern on that. It's like
Flower
triangles
of
inside
life or
triangles.
sacred geometry.
Wow.
Oh yeah, okay. I see it. Looked like triangles from far.
Knife. This one was actually a huge mistake. These are my typical knife sheaths. This fits your typical 3 to 5 inch blade.
Mhm.
And so I call these my universal knife sheaths. They're called the SBL4. But this was actually a mistake that I did on stream.
Very
covered
cool
it up.
mistake,
Yeah,
frankly.
because it doesn't look like one, right?
No.
This whole thing right here was actually supposed to be a geometric pattern, and I messed it up so badly, and I had to cover it up. So I covered it up with this stamping tool here, and then I just
Now
turned
it's
it
a
into
tree.
a tree.
Awesome.
It's a happy tree, you know. We don't make mistakes
There
here. We
you go.
make happy
Happy little
trees.
accents. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just do stuff like this. This
No
is
big
everybody's
deal.
favorite
Just
pattern.
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh no, my favorite pattern is the one that you made for me.
Not
Dude,
biased.
you like that one, right? Yeah. I made him a dice tray and a dice bag.
Yeah, he's
And what
shown
else?
it
Did I
off
send you
once or
something else?
twice.
I feel like I
He's
sent you
very
something
proud
else.
of it. And he should be. It's
Well, but-
gorgeous.
What?
I
I've
said he's shown
a
it
few
off
times.
once or twice, and he's very proud of it, and he should be, because it's gorgeous.
It is. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm sad that it took me so long to send it out to you, though. And then here, 2 more things that I'll show you guys, just to give you an example of what I do.
Yes.
This is a deck box, which is for Magic the Gathering. These, surprisingly, even if I go to like knife shows, these things freaking sell. It is so weird. Like, I can't sell these at a farmer's market, but I can sell these at a knife show or a gun show.
Shadespire players, get yourselves one.
These things are great. They fit a full commander deck, and this one was made for streamer Bonsai Baby.
Oh yeah.
And
Bonsai Baby.
I'm gonna be giving it to her this weekend. But it just, you put your cards in there. There's
Beautiful.
no rivets or anything on the inside, so you don't have to worry about it. Is loved to death by a person. I know everybody loves everything that I've made for them. I think that maybe there's only a handful of people that don't like this stuff. Oh yeah, and this is like dragon scales.
Yeah.
Dragon scales are
Yeah,
really
that's cool.
right?
See, but one of the things that I've seen about what you do is it's really cool because yes, you put a lot of high
Ooh.
quality like the unicorn looking journal. You put a lot of high quality, high detail. Like you did a WoW journal where it was
Oh, that was so badass.
yes, Horde versus Alliance. Like each cover was one versus the other.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So there's a lot of high intricate detail, but in a lot of other cases, sometimes. Oh, are you gonna go get it?
I'm listening.
I know. In a lot of other cases, you dial it back and take it to a little bit more of a simpler level, like with the dice bag, right? Just very simple, very straightforward, but it just captures the moment of that product.
Okay. So you
Tons
said
of
fanny
purses
pack,
too, guys.
right?
Yeah,
Fanny pack.
amaze balls.
I make leather ones. This is a Twitch one.
It's Twitch purple, y'all.
Yeah, it's purple. This one's a dragon. And these I call them hip bags because they are way better looking than a fanny pack. Than like your typical fanny pack. I think fanny packs look like diapers, and these do not.
Oh, is that the one with the clips? I watched you make that one.
Yeah. So these have clips here, so you can take this strap off and you can hook it onto your belt instead of actually having like a belt around your waist or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to stand on here to show you guys. That's really cool.
Could you clip it to your belt loops even, or is that not advised?
Yeah, okay. You just clip it. I don't have any belt loops, but if you had a belt loop, you would clip it right onto there.
Cool. Yeah, and I remember watching. Really cool. I remember watching the stream, and you did maybe 3 or 4 versions trying to like nail down your final pattern and everything. Mm-hmm. That was really fun to watch. Really cool to see how that process.
The creative process.
Yep. God, yeah, you get to see a lot of patterns evolve and develop on your stream, and it's really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is my new like gaming design that I haven't really pushed because I started doing the knife sheath thing, but I still make these. You could put your logo on here, so it can be like Gamer Dad or something, you know, if you want. Cool. And how often do you get up or bend over, and how often are people looking at your chair? If you have this on your stream with your logo on it, people are gonna remember who you are. You know, like
Be Right Back screen is my empty chair.
It sure is.
It's just going to be constantly in their face, you know, and that's just a human thing where when it's constantly in our face, we remember what it is, you know. So if they're looking at an empty chair, let them look at a logo, you know, let them look at it. It's very comfortable.
That's
so
awesome.
Anyway, and then I work with artists too. That's why I was showing this off. This was actually drawn by I Am Kobold on Twitch. And I laser etch his stuff into my stuff. And then if it sells, he gets 15% back of whatever it was that I sold with his logo on.
That's cool of you.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I do. I'm glad you guys let me show off my work.
So fortunately, those who have stayed through the outro will probably get to see a lot of this shown off. Or, you know, at the end of the video, there's not a lot we'll have. It won't be in the audio, of course, because they're just going to hear us talking about stuff that you're showing off. But yeah, for those who have tuned in, you get to check out all the product. All of Sarah's social information, social media information is in the description for you to check out. So check out her website. You can buy all of those products that you've seen on her website. Check out her social media so you can see all of that created. And yeah, just go follow Sarah because she's awesome and she's a lot of fun and super hyped, super supportive. And sometimes if you sub to her channel, she will slide in her socks across the room.
Every once in a while. We kind of stopped doing that though because of this. But I did dub my first night on stream last night, just to let you guys know. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but I took my sword and I said, "You are dubbed freedom." So you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's always a crazy time, so go check her out. Sarah, thanks again so much for jumping on here. It's been a blast. Happy to have you.
100%.
Thank you. Yeah. You guys are amazeballs.
Amazeballs. Yeah, we got amazeballs going up in the chat,
in the live feed. We can see amazeballs going up.
Susie, did you just sub to my channel to use that emote?
She did.
Oh my god.
Susie is an amazingly supportive person. You just gained yourself a wonderful viewer.
Thank you.
Good friend, too. Good friend.
And for those of you listening in, this is exactly what the creative community is all about. I mean, just seeing people wanting to follow and reach out and follow this person that we're interviewing, you know, it's truly genuine and it's done in a way that gets us to let us meet other people. So thank you so much again.
You guys are awesome. Yep. Have a lovely evening.
Absolutely.
Take care.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for joining
we will
us.
Catch you in another 2 weeks this time. So no show next week, but we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
See you again.